everyone, is you and I'm Verse. We're going to do a video on the moon in Virgo, right? So the moon in Virgo would be mutable earth, being able to adapt to other people's ways of logistics and practicality. So the logistics and practicality here is the main thing that's important. So with that being said, you could look at the moon in Virgo transiting here as the details, the routine and pattern, the health, things that you are concerned about, things that you worry about. So like this is the bit of like if you're looking at a average astrology, they're gonna just say like this is the worry sign. This is the sign that just brings concern. And the only reason that the moon in Virgo is so concerned is because they're concerned about themselves. They're concerned about their own details, their own ways of practicalizing practicalizing and logistics. So they're able to relate to other people's ways of practicalizing. So that's where they feel comfortable. An individual with the moon of Virgo feels comfortable even judging themselves and criticizing themselves so much to the point that since they criticize themselves, they then in turn criticize others and say, like, oh, you could do this better and you could do that better. When really, like, it seemed like you throwing a big rock at somebody, you're just throwing stones. No, you throwing a pinnacle because it's hard, but you're trying to make them better. You see what I'm saying? So that's like the moon of Virgo energy. So if we look at it transiting through the sky, this is the time that you want to make sure that your routine and pattern and your details in your life are making you feel comfortable due to it being the moon here, right? So if we look at the moon through the first house to the 12th house, this will be first house, personal affairs, individuality, and things like that. So like you're going to have an individual way of feeling about your details, your practicality. Are you satisfied with the way that you put things on a routine? Are you satisfied with your personal health pattern? You see what I'm saying? Are you satisfied with your personal way of logistics? Like, do you pay your bills on time? You see what I'm saying? That's a personal affair. Look at the second house. This will be being able to value and feeling comfortable valuing the details, the routines and patterns. You see what I'm saying? So the second house is about your values for your person, place, or a thing. So, or even just a thought pattern. You see what I mean? So you valuing this way of thinking and practicalizing really is more than thinking. You're like, okay, instead of just like having a thought, I got to make that make sense. You see what I mean? That's the earth aspect of it. So whenever you value the details of how someone is doing something, you value the details of this place that you're at. You see what I mean? You value the things that this you value the things in details. You value things in detail. You see what I mean? So that's why it's person, place, or things with the second house. Is it's a value system. What you show love to. You see what I mean? So what you hold, kind of like what you hold, and people can see what you value. You see what I mean? So like I said, with the moon being here, so you might be a little bit worried about your values. You might be concerned with having the right routine and pattern to create the correct value system. You see what I mean? So then with the third house, it'll be your environment. So worrying or being concerned about your environment and the routine that your environment participates in. So here on the higher octave, you're going to have communicative and communication in your environment about things that are practical, things that make sense, things that are logistical, and things that you can adapt to. You see what I mean? So it's a communication style in your environment that you're able to adapt to. So on the lower octave, it'll be you're very concerned about this communication style, this environment that you're in. This routine and health pattern doesn't actually benefit you too much. You see what I mean? This would be one of those circumstances. Pardon me. Move this little chair a little bit. The circumstances in your environment will create these details. You see what I mean? So it's either you're feeling comfortable expressing the details in your environment, responding or reacting to the details in your environment, or you feel uncomfortable and you have to find a different environment and make it make more sense with how you want to actually express your emotions. See what I mean? So that's the logistical side of that Virgo, right? And then we look at the fourth house. This would be privacy, ways in the home, and feeling feeling concerned in the home, or feeling worry in the home, or having a private emotion that you have on the schedule. You see what I mean? So like you have this say, okay, so maybe you have a logistical and practicality about, like, okay, so the moon's in Virgo, I should take care of the home. You see what I mean? I should organize. I should make things practical. I should move things into a logistical space. Maybe, you see what I mean, like sweep the rug, or and things like that. This is the time to bring out your practical emotion. You see what I mean? So like, okay, I've been concerned about this for this period of time, and you've been aware of this, that, and the third. Maybe you expressed it during the Gemini moon, and now it's actually becoming a worry or a concern in your private home. You see what I mean? So whenever you have it going to the fourth house, you want to express those details of what you feel in the heart space. You see what I mean? So that fourth house is that privacy, your home life, and things like that. So things, emotions that are close to the heart. So you want to, if you on the higher octave, you're able to express those private spaces, those heart space emotions. You see what I mean? Or if on the lower octave you don't feel comfortable expressing those heart space emotions, it's actually not putting your heart in a good place. You see what I mean? This would be that fourth house element. So in the fifth house, this would be the expression. So feeling comfortable in your expression of the details. You see what I mean? Expressing your way of concern, your pattern, expressing what you're concerned about, like what you put on your attention. You see what I mean? So like here, you're gonna express the details, or feel it's on the higher octave. You feel comfortable expressing your details of what you got going on in your life. Think about this. This is generally a Taurus rising. So you look at the Taurus being a fixed nature, generally they're best their personality. But the way that they express themselves, it's going to be like, okay, I want to practicalize and make my, expression make sense. You see what I mean? So that's like the Taurus nature. That's a fixed Earth. It's a left field thing, but I'm going to just make it make sense for you. So if you think about the Earth sign being in a fixed nature, it'll be consistent or stubborn instead of adaptable, like the Virgo. With the Virgo moon being here, though, you're going to say, okay, this is an expression that I've been paying attention to, and now I feel comfortable expressing that detail. You see what I mean? On the lower octave, you feel uncomfortable expressing your details and what you put attention to. So in the sixth house, this would be the actual, where the Virgo was birthed. So you think about the details, routines, and patterns, and how you're actually putting those on the schedule. You see what I mean? So this will be like a good time to express what you're concerned about, express the details of how you want something done, this, that, and the third. Say you have a project coming up, you need to actually organize, which thing makes sense to do first. Like for, let's say you're building a building, you gotta dig out the ground underneath to build the foundation, this, that, and the third. You see what I'm saying? That's the sixth house nature here. So it's going to be like, okay, what are we putting on the schedule? What are we putting on the routine? This would also be about your health. You see what I mean? So it's like you think about, like, okay, is this routine and pattern I got going on, is it healthy? Like I'm concerned about the way that I express or react and respond to the details of my life. You see what I mean? How I actually um, put my daily routine and pattern together. You see what I'm saying? Then we move on to the seventh house. This would be relating to the details or your concern of your relationship. So being able to actually communicate with your partner and communicate the details in a higher octave would be, okay, this is what I'm concerned about, consort or partner. What do we actually need to fix? What do we need to what do we need to change to make things more prosperous in our relationship? What is a way that I can relate better? You want to actually express those details of the relationship, these things that you have that are like kind of is unhealthy to you. Like you think about, like, there's certain communication patterns that can be unhealthy. There's certain like thinking patterns that could be unhealthy. There's certain ways that we act towards each other, and just body language natures of how we relate to each other, and those details. So I mean, those are the things that you're going to be expressing. Like, do you feel comfortable with how things are being put on a schedule, and how things are being related to how you're being related to? Do you feel comfortable with those details, or are you concerned about it and you need to express that? You see what I mean? So you need to express your concern in your relationship on the higher or lower octave here. This is kind of like building the ground basis for the Pisces. You see what I mean? So you're not just in dreamland all the time. If you follow what I'm saying, this is So you think about Pisces rising, then Virgo being the 7th house. So relating to your ways of concern or looking at the details, things like that. The 8th house, this would be behind the scenes, secrets, and things that you, uh, have an internal passion for. I'm not going to say this the same thing that I always say every time. Sex, you know what I'm saying? That's what the 8th house is about too. But yeah, think about that earned internal passion if you're trying to keep it clean, keep it cute. You know what I'm saying? Keep it calm and collected. Um, this is that 8th house nature. So you think about you bringing out the details, and you feel comfortable expressing the details of what you feel behind the scenes, which you have kept secret. The things that you've had a like to a 5th house attention to, but you didn't want to show everybody else, so you keep it in the 8th house. You follow what I'm saying? So either you feel comfortable expressing those details about what you got going on behind the scenes, or you feel uncomfortable about expressing those details. You feel like, I don't know if this is really the right time. I'm concerned. This is the wrong pattern to express this myself. You see what I mean? These people don't actually, connect with me behind the scenes. So how could I actually express myself and have them relate to the details of what I've got going on? That doesn't make any sense. You see what I'm saying? So you want to make sure you have individuals that know a bit about your 8th house behind the scenes nature before you even think about reacting, responding to the details of what you got going on behind the scenes. So if you think about it, this is more of like a practicalizing within oneself. If you look at the Virgo being here in the 8th house, this is the time of feeling what you've put on the schedule behind the scenes that nobody else really knows about. So, you know, um, take care of your duties and responsibilities. I'm gonna keep it cool and cute rule on this one, on the 8th house. So when you think about the 9th house, this would be the knowledge, wisdom, and way of traveling in the mind, or actually traveling in physical reality. So like this would be a time to check your car oil, check your antifreeze type shit. You see what I'm saying? Like check things that will help you transport. So maybe even check your mind state. So I mean, is this the right knowledge and wisdom? Should I be concerned about the knowledge and wisdom that I'm giving to other people? Or you see what I'm saying? Like things like that. Like you're going to be concerned about your knowledge and wisdom. You're going to be concerned about the ways that you put spirituality on a pattern. So like you think about this is kind of like a square alignment in a way, because Virgo and Sagittarius is a square. Think about Virgo being birthed in the 6th house, Sagittarius being birthed in the 9th house. The Virgo doesn't really do the best here. It's a Mercurial alignment in a Jupiter house. So this is a time to be concerned about your knowledge and wisdom and what you actually are bringing to other people to, create a wisdom about things. So this is a time to look at the details of where spirituality has got you, so to speak. This has got you on the higher octave where you express your knowledge and wisdom is actually um, like appreciated, so to speak. It's like Virgo and Leo a little bit alike in that aspect. Virgo wants all the attention that Leo gets, but Leo's a little bit more vocal about getting it. You see what I mean? Another video, but this is a time that you're going to either feel concerned about your knowledge and wisdom, or you actually feel like, okay, this knowledge and wisdom is getting me somewhere, and I should look more into the details of this and actually get further with it. You see what I'm saying? So then you look at the 10th house, this would be the status, the blueprint, ways of being seen in the, like you think about the public is the 11th house, but you think about having a status to allow yourself to be in the public in a certain way is the 10th house. So this would be a time to be concerned about your status, things about how you're putting yourself out there. Like, this is the time to get what you want to, put on the blueprint, and things that you actually put on the schedule for your status, like for the blueprint. So like, so to say, like, okay, I want to save $200 every paycheck. You see what I mean? So like, how's my status on that? Can I look at the $200 in my little box over there? Is it still there? This is the status. You know what I mean? So like, okay, do I have the status if I could go out and actually buy this new phone to better my status of in my internet life. You see what I mean? I got a real, so for example, you had a real grainy Android. Now you want to get like the Galaxy S, whatever it is now, like 24 or some shit. You see what I mean? So then you can upgrade your status. It's because you've saved that $200 up and you had that accumulation through the time that it was transiting through the other moon signs. You see what I mean? So now you have an actual status of, oh, these are things that I was concerned about and things that I was putting on a routine and pattern. Now I can bring this status to the forefront. Now I can bring my blueprint and show everybody. You see what I mean? So that's the higher octave. You feel comfortable expressing the details of your status. On the lower octave, you feel uncomfortable expressing the details of your status due to you pretty much just bullshitting. You know, you're not really taking life serious. You kind of just like, ah, la, 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 I don't want to take anything serious, you know. During all those Capricorn transits and all that Mercury retrograde, you probably wasn't giving a fuck. You see what I mean? All that type of shit. You know what I mean? You think about that. I'm not really trying to talk too much shit on y'all, but I'm going to keep it a buck. Sometimes the Sag don't give a damn about them damn selves. You see what I mean? This would be the Sag rising. So you think about the Virgo transiting here. It's either like, okay, have you put your knowledge and wisdom? Is it actually bringing you a certain status that you actually appreciate? You see what I mean? Is your way of being mutable in your visions the way that are the visions that you've created? Has it created a good status for you? You see what I mean? Or you just created a bunch of bullshit visions? That's the lower octave, good higher octave. You got real good visions, and you can actually express those visions and feel comfortable having these details as your status. You see what I'm saying? So Virgo, details, 10th house, status. You follow me? So you think about the 11th house. This would be associations in the group, in the public places. So feeling comfortable expressing the details of your group. Say if you're in a rock band, you feel comfortable, you know, tagging your. So for example, you on the social medias, you feel comfortable tagging your bandmates because they actually have good associations as well. This is, you know, going to bring a bigger group together. Follow what I'm saying? So if you look at it as this humanitarian nature, okay, what can I actually put on the schedule to better this public or better the human race? This that, that these are the kind of thoughts you're gonna have on your mind. Like, are my associations actually bringing me beneficial circumstances, or are they actually harming me? Like, should I be concerned about my association, or do I want to express the details of my association? You see what I'm saying? So either way, you should be a little bit, you know, just having like, you know, one eye open, one eye open when you sleep in type for an expression with your group, no matter what. The 11th house, you should always be keeping your eye on your associations. You see what I mean? It sounds grimy, but it's a real thing. Like, keep your friends close, your enemies closer. You follow what I'm saying? It's like, this is that 11th house nature. It's like, where are you associated with? What are you actually detail? What kind of details do you bring to the group? You follow what I'm saying? So on the higher octave, like I say, you feel comfortable expressing the details of which group you're involved in. On the lower octave, you feel uncomfortable expressing the details of which group you're in. Maybe you're in a motherfucking cult. You don't want to be in no goddamn cult. You follow what I'm saying? The 12th house, this would be the dreams, illusions, and nightmares. So this would be like that opposite alignment. Usually the Pisces is in the, you know, well, not usually, but the Pisces was birthed from the 12th house. You think about Virgo, opposite to Pisces, being in this 12th house at this point. So it'd be expressing concern with your dreams, illusions, and nightmares. So you should be concerned about, like, okay, is this dream actually accumulating? Is the vision that I had in my Jupiterian 12th house, whenever I was dreaming and sleeping and having the most beautiful dream ever, is that coming to reality? This, that, and the third. Like, you're going to be able to, on the higher octave, express those dreams, and you're going to say, oh, people are going to say, oh, yeah, that is in reality. I can relate to that. That is I can adapt to that practical dream. That dream makes sense. You see what I'm saying? Lower octave. Your dream don't make no goddamn sense. You just dreaming. You just in la la land. You see what I'm saying? So the thing to do with the 12th house here is actually create a practical schedule. You know, get a little bit more concerned about the way that you're reacting, responding to your dreams, illusions, and nightmares. So instead of it being just a nightmare, you can make that a beautiful dream. Say, like, look, I'm on the earth in the first place, just experiencing this is a beautiful dream. So boom, that's a good starting point. So yeah, that's the Moon of Virgo for the 1st to the 12th house. Much love, and holla back at me, throwing all the different peace signs. You know what I'm saying? I love all y'all. Holla back, much love.